Happy February 1st. I am Michelle Dammer, your local realtor, and I am happy you are here with me this afternoon. I I wanted to incorporate some music into the start of my live. I'm working on it. I am a one-man act over here, and I can only hold so many balls in the air until something falls. So I will do my best to try and incorporate some news music to get us started in this for this 15 minutes. Glad you guys are here today. My quote for today, I thought this was funny. It now does not apply today, but it does apply for the last maybe 72 days that we've had here in Illinois. You want a prediction about the weather, you're asking the wrong Phil. I'll give you a winter prediction. It's going to be cold, it's going to be gray, and it's going to last for the rest of your life. And that is from Groundhog Day, Bill Murray playing the weatherman, Phil. If anybody has not seen that movie, it is quite funny, and there are definitely days that I feel like I did this exact same thing yesterday. Or I will say, I feel like I've had this conversation multiple times before with the same person or something along those lines. Has anybody here can you relate to that, where you're thinking, is this the same day over and over again? I feel like, again, with the weather, it's definitely been Groundhog Day-ish out there. Today, praise the Lord, it is sunny out. And I know that there were people that were outside. There's probably people outside right now in the Chicagoland area in shorts. I guarantee somebody has shorts on today in this weather. And I guarantee there's some young person walking around with no jacket on. And I think I heard it was 50 degrees out, so it makes sense, right? It makes sense. Now, when I was in Florida a couple weeks ago and it was 50 degrees out, my girlfriend was telling me to put my winter coat on, my hat, my gloves, my scarf. Just goes to show you the difference between climates and areas. It's vastly different, vastly different. So last week's trivia, I talked about food, and I don't know if my food talk inspired anybody to go home and make something for themselves or for their family. It did not inspire me to make anything because I do not, I'm not a big cook kind of a person. I like to cook. I can sort of cook, but it's not my strong suit. I do like to bake more than I like to cook, but then I also like to eat the things that I bake. So it's a slippery slope with that. Very slippery slope with that. So let's see, what were the questions that I had for last week? I said, what do 21% of the people do while they are cooking a home-cooked meal? This is something that I do when I am cooking, and depending on my mood, it'll change. But the answer is they listen to music. I was on one of my apps. I don't know if it was Pandora or Amazon Music, and I Googled cooking while music while cooking, and I think Italian songs came out or something, and I thought, oh, this is lovely. I liked it. Makes me want to chop and slice and dice. No, not really, but it did get me through the meal prep. What is the oldest type of food prepared? This is something that, as we get older, we're probably not supposed to eat it. I'll give you a hint. It is white. It is white. Well, and not always white, but this is what we're supposed to stay away from, the white bread. I like bread. In fact, I had peanut butter and toast for dinner last night. But I bought that bread. I don't know if anybody's tried it. I forgot the name of it. There's a guy who looks like he's kind of a muscle guy on the front of it. I cannot remember the name of the bread, but it's got a lot of nuts and seeds and stuff in it, so fills you up. And it doesn't taste bad. Once you get used to something, when you know what you know, you want to stick with what you know. But if you're willing to experiment and step outside of what you know, and you can get used to different things. Like, I used to be only drinking cow's milk. That was all I ever drank. And now I only drink almond milk. I have tried cashew milk. Not a fan. Not a fan of the cashew milk. And I don't think I'm really a fan of coconut milk. But I say that, and I drank it in its pure form. I think if you take coconut milk and you have it like in something, like maybe a shake or something along those lines, maybe it tastes better. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Do you guys only drink the whole milk? And what about bread? Do you still eat white bread? Peanut butter, it's timeless. You're gonna eat peanut butter. I'm gonna eat peanut butter. I think my whole life. I have tried almond butter. It's okay. It's okay. I like that they flavor it with like honey or cinnamon. It enhances it. But it's not like go to. And when I was taking my yoga class, there was an instructor was talking to us about almond milk and almond all that stuff, and they were saying that it's probably better for us to drink like rice milk or some other form because I guess almonds use a lot of water to produce, and they're primarily grown in California. And anybody that knows anything about California knows that California is, I think they're experiencing a lot of water now, but I think they don't get a lot of water in California. So, a little information for you about almonds, and I still drink almond milk, but I do have that in my mind. Last question. What is the most common ingredient in food dating back from way back when? Way back when, the answer is salt. Salt. Are you a big salt person? Do you salt every single thing that you eat? Whether it is sweet, salty, savory, or sour? Or do you sample your food first and then decide if you need salt on it? Just never grew up with a whole bunch of salt. I do like salt on fries though. All right. Thank you for playing last week's trivia question. Let's play this week's trivia questions. This week's trivia questions are dedicated to tomorrow's Groundhog Day, which is why I did the quote on Groundhog Day. You see the connection? You see it all coming together now? Yep, that's how that works. All right, this week's trivia question number 1. Where was the film Groundhog Day filmed? Any guesses? Number 2, what will cause us to have 6 more weeks of winter, which I hope we do not have? And finally, number 3, what's another name for the groundhog? Let me know what you guys think. Good luck. Good luck, my audience, my Facebook audience. Okay. So I was thinking about the groundhog. I'm thinking about animals. I'm thinking about the house. How do I incorporate my real estate business with Groundhog's Day? It's a kind of a tricky transition, right? So I was thinking about pets. And I know this woman, she had befriended a squirrel. And I think the squirrel might have come inside her house. I don't think it lived with her. But she had a terrace. And I want to say that little squirrel came on her terrace and she befriended him. And then I think he either got a family and hit the road or maybe literally hit the road. You know what I mean, right? But she also had, I think, flying squirrels, if that's what they're called. They're real little. So she was a squirrel nut. Yeah, I hope you guys like that one. Squirrel nut, get it? Not squirrel. So I was thinking, well, that's kind of an unusual animal as a pet, a squirrel. And, obviously I would never have a groundhog, but, when you're a homeowner, you can have any kind of animal you want as long as it's within, city, village ordinances. I know certain areas of, I think Tinley Park, you can have chickens. Bourbonnais, you can have chickens in your backyard. I'm almost positive on unincorporated areas, you can have chickens. Depending on how much land you can have your farm animals. So it's what you want in your house. And most people have your dogs, your cats, your birds, your fish, um, your hamsters. Some people have the dragon. What is it called? The something dragon, not fire eating, fire breathing. Excuse me, fire breathing dragon. It's some other dragon, um, and tarantulas. So it's fine. Everybody, I have a dog. You know, people have pets, and what happens sometimes is that we lose our ability to see and smell our pets because they have just become incorporated into our home, which is, you know, how it should be. They are family. But when you are thinking about selling your house and you are starting to get your house ready to put on the market, one of the things as a realtor that I would have to address if this was the case would be, you know, have the animals, pets, have they done any damage to the house? And have they left any odor? Because you, as a homeowner, you don't always smell it. I went to this one woman's house in in Lansing, and she it was a smaller house, and right when I walked in the door, I knew she had cats. Right when I walked in the door, and that I don't think she knew. And her house was warm. I think it was winter time because I think it was the heat that, and so maybe that amplified the smell, if you know what I'm saying. All I know is that I don't think this woman had any idea how strong the house smelled like cat. And as a buyer, if I were buying that house, I would have been turned off to that house for that reason alone. And that is the case. That I read something today that you could lose potentially like $20,000 uh, from sales because people don't want to buy a house that is damaged by an animal, smells like an animal. You know, if you have to replace carpets, you know, maybe you have to replace cabinets, maybe you have to replace doors, you know, especially like if your animal is bored, if you know, it said something about walking the dog. So if you don't walk, say you have a dog and you're not walking the dogs get restless, and so they might chew on the cabinet, they might chew on the trim, they might ruin the carpeting, you know, they might chew on the furniture. So you're going to go sell your house, and I come to your house and I see there's a couch that a corner of the couch has been gnawed on by a dog. Well, that's going to make me as a buyer wonder what other damage has this animal done to this house besides this furniture. Uh, Maybe you have a cat, and you know I come to your house to look to help you get it sold, and the back of a chair is just shredded because the cat used the chair as a scratching post. Okay, well, we're going to get rid of that chair because we don't want buyers to see that chair. We don't want the buyers to even know that you have an animal here. We want this buyer to see this house and say, I love this house and I want to buy it. That's what we want. So, you know, you want to make sure that when you decide that you are ready to sell your house, that you check your screens for any scratches, whether it's a cat or a dog. You know, if you have a dog that's bigger, that can get up on a windowsill, you know, and there's a squirrel running by or whatever, they might try and grab it with their paw, scratch the screen. And if you've been living with your screen like that for a few years, you might not even notice, but you're selling it. So we're getting it ready. So we would fix that up. I read something about if there are stains in the, hello, if there are stains in the carpet from an animal, this website that I was on recommended that you remove the carpeting, not clean it, remove it. So that is very telling to me. If scent is that strong, and you figure it's permeating through the carpet, it's getting into the padding, it might be even in the subfloor. So they just recommend getting rid of it. Same with a laminate floor, replace it. I thought that was amazing. Like your pets. It could be a little bit of a investment to get your house ready with dogs. Smells are everywhere when you have a pet because your pet is most likely allowed everywhere, which is fine, but something to be aware of. And the other thing that they recommend is if you they get into if you have a animal that sheds, all that fur can get into the cleaning the air ducts, and so they recommend that you have your ducts cleaned. Now I don't know about any of you, but my Facebook feed all the time has somebody who wants to clean my ducts. All the time. Somebody just wants to really clean people's ducts. And there's always give them a call, give them a call, give them a call, give them a call. So I have more information about the pets, but I think I was talking a little bit too long about whatever it was that I was talking about earlier. I am out of time. I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a little bit. And just remember, I am your realtor of choice. If you need, if you have any real estate needs, please feel free to give me a call. And it looks like if you need a duct guy, I can get you a duct guy. Just let me know. And if you also want to do some yoga, let me know. I will be happy to help you. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.